On the off chance that you're not elected in November,
Yeah.
and that Donald Trump is elected, would you be willing to work for him in some capacity to do what you're talking about?
I don't think so. I mean, I would listen to a proposal, but I don't think so. I don't think.
You wouldn't serve your country?
Well, I'm not confident that I could do that. If I had that confidence, I would. I think. I don't think. Anyway.
What you've been talking about. I mean, the backstory, because we don't have the time, but we're talking about America. And when I interviewed your cousin Caroline Kennedy, at one point we were talking about how your uncle Teddy would exhort you cousins to memorize Longfellow's poem Paul Revere's Ride, and it reminded me of a different America. You know, because when people talk about, say, I'm a Kennedy Democrat, that's pretty dramatically different than what the party has become. There was a love of country, and I think that when you talk about your uncle's desire, your father's desire to right these wrongs, there's something noble about that, and it's hard not to admire that. And to think that we're 6 decades along and that we're still dealing with this stuff. Most Americans still aren't awake to the narrative. I mean, you know, you're giving us chapter and verse on where the bullets were, and most Americans think, oh, Sirhan, you know, Lee Harvey, you know, and again, not that that's the most important thing, but it points to the deeper truth that we're supposed to be a self-governing people, and it seems that some of the forces that you've been working against have been. They're taking great pains to demonize anybody like you that would question the narrative, and so it seems to me that you have to have hope that people are waking up. I mean, did the 51 people who signed that document denouncing the Hunter Biden laptop as Russian disinformation? I mean, I think that there are many Americans that are aware that something very nasty is going on, that we've got to do something about it. And I just think that whether you are in the White House or outside of the White House, that you know, you're uniquely appointed to be working for this. So I'd like to think that America would mean enough to you that.
You know, I would, first of all...
And by the way, if Biden should win, I don't think you're getting a call from him, by the way.
Yeah. No, I'm not, but I do want to just emphasize what you just said about those people here may not know what you're talking about. I think most of them do, but there were 51 high-level acting or inactive CIA officials who signed a letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, which was a lie. It was tampering with the US election, what they were doing. And it was the CIA tampering with the US election. And the fact that, you know, I mean, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump's, and one of the reasons that I don't think I'd go to work for him is because he offered me a job in the last administration, and then he took $1 million from Pfizer, and then...
I mean, I've heard that story, and I think a lot of us were in a different place at that time. A lot of us have a very different view of Pfizer and Moderna than we did at that point, and actually a very different view of many things than we did at that point.
When somebody looks you in the eye and tells you, I want you to do this, and then, you know, it was a big cost for me to go announce that I'm joining the Trump administration, an enormous cost. And then, you know, and then nothing is there. It makes you less willing to, you know, then entrust your to trust that person again. So, you know, like I said, I would listen to a proposal. My objective is to help my country.